Right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. And it's Eagle Eye, the transfer rumour show, where I talk to you about rumours and news surrounding the Arsenal. Now, is everybody's head okay? It's been a happy weekend for an Arsenal, if you're an Arsenal fan, and a good positive way to finish the season. Where I've seen, I generally there are like 3 or 4 different types of Arsenal fans. Generally, you get the people who are never happy no matter what, who are happy but understand that some major changes need to be made. I feel like I fall into that camp. The people that are happy and don't think there is that many things that need to be changed, and that people who are always happy no matter what. Now, I feel like for me, this weekend, it allowed everybody to kind of unite together. So it's a little bit of a brain pause there. It allowed everybody to unite together. Everyone's having fun at Chelsea's expense. You know why? Because we actually achieved something. This wasn't a case of us achieving something through watching somebody else do something. No, we went out there, we handled our business as men. No disrespect to the women on them, but obviously they're men playing. We went out there, we handled our business as men and came back with some silverware. You could be the most negative of negatives. You can't find fault with that. And, you know, I see a lot of people hollering at Lee, hollering at myself, saying, oh, you're going to apologize for Mikel Arteta. For me, I don't think there's any need. I think I've always maintained from day one that I hope the man does well. At the end of the day, I'm an Arsenal fan. I want Arsenal to do well. And if that means he does well, brilliant, so be it. I said this in the last show. For me, this was the most tangible evidence to if someone wanted to tell me that we're making progress. Don't tell me 8th to 8th is progress. But us winning a trophy, okay. Because I would have told you something. We were a million miles away from that around December. So I think for that point and for that reason, you've got to give Mikel Arteta, the whole team, credit. And to be perfectly honest, you know, it's Monday evening and people are still laughing at Arsenal. People are still laughing at Chelsea. People are still, you know, happy with Arsenal. And it's nice. My gosh, it's actually nice for once to step on Twitter and not think, oh my gosh, it's just negative cloud everywhere. You know, it's nice to switch on Sky Sports News and think, yeah, that's my team. You know, it's nice to switch on the news generally. Yeah, that's my team. You know, we don't have very proud moments often. So it was nice to just have that weekend of a proud moment. And obviously now, as we start to look forward, and it at least being the end of domestic competition, obviously I know it's not the end of competition altogether, but the end of domestic competition, we need to start focusing on planning forward, allowing the boys to get a rest, but really deciding on who needs to be here, who doesn't. You know, who is on that chopping block docket, who isn't, you know? Because even though we've made the Europa League, it's not Champions League money. And, you know, for us to have the surgery that we need, we're going to need to sell a lot of players. There's just no getting away from it. You know, some of whom have played a big run in this FA Cup final, and some of you guys will be like, no, we can't sell him cheap. Or no, we can't sell him cheap. But I think actually we need to make some real honest decisions with ourselves about who we need to sell and who we don't want to sell. But it is what it is. Okay. And now people are saying, well, we're technically Chig. Arteta took us from 11. All right. Okay. I'm trying to talk about the reason that you sacked Emery, who was your long-term manager, and then you picked a long-term manager in Arteta. That's the point I'm making. I'm not talking about the interim. Guys, you guys and your technicalities. Anyway. All right. Let's look forward. Let's go into this story. Let's talk about Kia FC, aka Arsenal. And let's talk about Willian. Willian, the 31, nearly 32-year-old midfielder, is due to join Arsenal. That's the common belief. It's been the belief all summer, really, that Arsenal has been his first choice destination to join. There were rumours that he was interested in hooking back up with Jose Mourinho. He quashed those pretty quickly. But he's let these Arsenal ones rumble and rumble. Chelsea made a last-minute attempt to keep Willian. They offered him a 2-year deal. He flat out rejected it, and he seems to have his heart set on a move to Arsenal because he's a key signing. Almost definitely, he's going to be an Arsenal player. We'll make sure those talks go nice and smoothly. Stephen, I appreciate the donation, my guy. Chig, I tried to DM invite you both to my live stream on the channel, but I can't. Can you DM? All right, cool. I mean, thanks, Stephen, for your donation. My personal time for channel appearances, I had to turn down a good friend of mine, Terry's, today, purely because I literally had time to do the show, and then I've got like 8 million other things to do. So I happily DM you, but in terms of appearing on the show, may not be for a while. If you notice, I don't do that many appearances, so yeah. But thank you for your donation. But if I have time, absolutely. But at the moment, I don't. But thank you, Stephen. I hope you're doing well as well. In terms of Willian, what do I think of the player? I'll be honest. I said this on Twitter. Some people agreed. Some people did not agree. I think it's average. I've said it. This is one me and Lee heavily disagree on. I think he's average. I think he has very good moments. Works hard. But if you ask Chelsea fans, actually, it's more of a case that he's quite wasteful with chances that he gets. That when he's on form, he's on great form. He'll always take a reliable penalty for you. But actually, it's not a signing that particularly makes a lot of sense for Arsenal. And I agree. I mean, unless you are saying to us now that Pepe is moving from that right-hand side, and you're playing Willian on the right-hand side, and even then, I'm not in love with the move. I still don't love the move. I like Pepe as a number 10. I've always said that. But I just don't like the move of Willian on the right-hand side. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? I'm not a huge fan of it. But yeah, you let me know what you think. And Stephen, yeah, of course, no problem, bro. I'll ask Lee. Thank you for your donation as well. So yeah, let's see what we do. £120,000 a week. They're talking about potentially him being offered to close to 200,000 a week. I just think you're trying to lower your wage bill. You're in the process of getting Mkhitaryan off the books for the same kind of money. You want Mesut Ozil off the books because he earns almost double that. To me, it's just not a move that makes a lot of sense to me. But again, what do you guys think? Am I being harsh? I know the argument on Twitter was that, oh no, he's and I know obviously Marbles is a good friend of the show. He thinks that thank you, Georgie, I appreciate it, my guy. He thinks that actually the Willian deal is a good one, but he is worried about Kia's influence. And for me, I'm very worried about Kia's influence. You know, I don't like this idea that agents have such a close relationship with the club. I think you're supposed to have a certain amount of a relationship. But you know, I think it was Robbie who was telling me, not Robbie who you guys know, Robbie Richmond was telling me that was a lot of the issues that Liverpool had. Liverpool had this issue where they were owing so much to agents and stuff that they were being forced into a corner. And now we're almost going down the same kind of route because we've got this one geezer at the top of the tree that just seems to like running the club through agents, through these same agents. And that's the thing that really bothers me. If Kia had our best interests at heart, or let's say it was really about this kind of even, I'll give you some of our best prospects as well. Why is it always over the hill guys we get offered? Why? Why is it always the 31-year-olds, the 32-year-olds, the 33-year-olds? All right, Coutinho is 28, but he's struggling to find a club. Why is it always them guys that get offered to Arsenal are not the best prospects, the ones who are the hot prospects? Now, some will say, oh, well, there is Joorabchian Fernandez. I know that point is about to be made to me. Joorabchian Fernandez, I guarantee, ends up staying at the club. Now, I know I'm making a bold move here. Let me change that slightly. I guarantee you don't end up at Arsenal. That's just not the signing that will end up at Arsenal. That's a signing that will either that will end up getting Jolson Fernandez paid somewhere, but not Arsenal. You know? And that's the frustration I have with this Kia geezer. When somebody's name comes up, I'm like, oh, for flip's sake. Does he own every single player in the world? I guess on my nerves. And you know, I suppose moving on to the Coutinho deal, the Coutinho deal is another one that is being highly touted probably since Friday about the fact that Arsenal are very keen on that move. Arteta supposedly wants Willian and Coutinho. Call me a cynic, I don't think he wants both of them. I feel like if he wants anyone, he probably wants Coutinho, because I do think he likes that number 10 position. Coutinho, hey, for my reservations with Coutinho, he works harder than Mesut Ozil. I still don't think that should be our bar, though. Our bar shouldn't be he's better than Mesut Ozil. Our bar should be, well, he's the best prospect out there. That's why I quite like the Szoboszlai deal, because I think Szoboszlai represents that kind of deal. He's 19 years old. He's someone who I think has bags of talent. Don't think he will stay at the club for very long, because I think he'll prove himself to be a bit of a world-class player. Get him now while he's relatively cheap. Sell him for mad money later on. This is how self-sufficient businesses work. But Arsenal, and then I'm going to start hearing some nonsense about how we got some of the highest wages in the league. Well, stop bringing these old-timers in that are just going to do a substandard job. That's my kind of view on it. They do a substandard job and then they get paid, oh yeah, that'd be great. And then they get paid like mega money for it. It's just, for me, I'm sorry. Things like that really piss me off, I'll be honest. And that's the thing, because you have money for that, but you don't have money for a Partey. This bothers me. I must admit, it does bother me. But again, what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the chat room. Leave it in the comments below. Now, I know you guys will kill me unless I talk about Diego. I'm going to call him Diego Costa. Diego Carlos? Was that his name? Hold on, let me try and find the story. He's the Sevilla 21-year-old central defender who's been linked with the likes of, yeah, I was right, Diego Carlos. He's been linked with the likes of Liverpool recently. In fact, so much so, I thought this Liverpool deal, I thought it was more or less done. The way that, because the story, I first read it in June, and then I read some half-assed story about us being linked with this Diego Carlos guy end of June, but I didn't really pay it that much attention. I think I did one very brief video on it, where if it's between us and Liverpool, we've got zero chance of getting him. But this story's come up again off the back of us winning the FA Cup. And listen, stories were always going to pop off after securing a Europa League position, because it automatically means that Arsenal have more money than we thought we did prior to that game. So obviously with that will mean more stories. This, for me, is one of those stories where I feel like I can still dismiss. He's a very good defender though. He's 6'1", so he's my height, about my height. Quite a built player, decent pace on him. Loves a tackle, because sometimes get himself in trouble with a tackle or two. But he loves a tackle, very tough tackler. Likes throwing himself into stuff. And decent enough at reading the game. I think he'd be a very good, experienced option for William Saliba, to be honest. He's 27 as well, so I'm not talking about someone that's over the hill. We're talking about someone who I think if he left Sevilla would want a massive move, and a massive move to a club like Arsenal, I think would suit him quite well, because it's not overly big that he would be like, oh no, I can't do that. You know, I think it's just about good enough for him. So yeah, it's what it is. But again, what do you guys think? You know, is this someone that you guys have identified before? It is important to say he has I shit you not, a £68 million release clause. So you're already thinking, oh, how Arsenal going to afford that? There is a belief that Sevilla will take a little bit less, but when I say a little bit, they're talking about 55 million they're looking at for this guy. And who can blame him? He's one of their best players. This feels like a story the club, Raul maybe himself, has put out there to distract people, to impress people, to make people think, "Wow, okay." Because obviously the Upamecano deal looks like it's more or less done now, unless Arsenal decide to put up 53 million for him. And I've told you guys this before. I like him as a player. I do think that's gone unnoticed. I will say this. I do like him as a player. I do think he's a little overrated. I prefer Canute. I've said that from day one. From day one. Canute is the ball reader. He's the one that actually, if anything, probably positions Upamecano quite a lot of the time when those two are playing together. So yeah, I like Canute. That's my guy. This Diego Carlos one, I think, also could be a distraction from their real target, which is obviously Gabriel from Lille. Over the weekend, Gabriel has been linked with lots and lots of places like Chelsea, Everton. Everton's always been there trying to nip at that deal. Obviously, Everton don't have European football, but they have a manager which a lot of players would like to play for. And Manchester United were the latest ones being linked with Gabriel. The interesting thing about this is that there is a common belief that Gabriel wants to move to London and isn't overly keen on moving to Manchester. But obviously, Manchester United is Manchester United. So it wouldn't surprise anyone if he eventually says, "All right, let's do it. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world. Let's do it." But there is a belief that he wants to move to London, and is more keen on waiting for a Chelsea or an Arsenal to come in for him. For me, this is the player I would get. People keep asking me this question. Chig, defenders. The Upamecano deal's gone. Who would you now go for? Gabriel. 100%. I think for the money that you get, for the player that you get, for the experience that you get, for the potential blend of partnership that you will get with Willian, Gabriel's the move for me. That for me is what I would do. It still doesn't mean that I wouldn't bring in Sarr, because as you guys know, I would sell most of our defenders. I would sell most of them. I would sell Socrates, I would sell Holding, I would sell Chambers. I love Chambers. You guys know this. I would sell him. I would sell Kolasinac. So I would clear the decks with all of them. You bring in Sarr, who hopefully agrees to move to Arsenal. You bring in someone like a Saliba, and then you bring in this Gabriel guy, and you're set. You're good to go. And between those three, they're competing for places in the team, or they play as a black three. Because Saliba is very comfortable on the ball. He can come out with the ball if he needs to. This is, for me, this is what I'd want to see out of a fresh generation Arsenal team. Where, thank you, Ben. Thank you, appreciate it. Where, let's face it, we need a refresh. We need a revamp. And if that includes getting rid of all of our defenders, I know it's kind of harsh by saying, "Oh, thanks for winning us the FA Cup, see ya." But guess what? That's what successful clubs do. Being ruthless, making those tough calls, making that decision. That's what I would like to see out of Arsenal. But what would you guys like to see? Again, let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I will come to the chat room, I promise, guys. Just bear with me. Just looking through. Arsenal talks for a triple swoop. Let's have a look at this. Arsenal talks for a triple swoop. Okay, well, I like the first picture. So you guys already know that Thomas Partey must be in the first picture. See, for me, this is the sort of player you go for. This is the type of player you go for. So supposedly the triple soup is Phil Coutinho, Thomas Partey, and Willian. Now, I did get a question about this on my Instagram. Someone just flat out asked me, "Chig, sorry to disturb you, but next time you do your show, can you answer if Arsenal went and got Partey, Coutinho, and Willian, would you be unhappy?" It wouldn't be my targets, but I would be satisfied. If it was up to me personally, I'd go and get a Szoboszlai. Yes, over a Grealish. I'd go and get a Szoboszlai. I'd go and get a Partey. The Coutinho deal has to be. I'm not totally against it, but I would prefer it as a loan, personally, with an option, not an obligation to buy. But then again, I'd rather Awura, who I know plays more deeper, but you could put Szoboszlai as a number 10 if you really wanted to. Yeah, and then just go and get some defenders. Go and get Gabriel, go and get Mar, go and get a right back, sell Hector Bellerin. I think you're good to go. I think you're good to go. You don't need to change the goalkeepers. Have two goalkeepers that are fantastic that will compete and scrap for the position. That's what you want. You know? This team for me just needs very obvious changes. Whether the club will make those changes is another question. You know, I'd be tempted personally to go and get Sangara as well, and the reason being is I would, if it was up to me, I would sell Granit Xhaka, I would sell Guendouzi, I would sell Torreira, I'd sell all three, bring in some decent cash with all three of those guys, right? And then you go and get your, Sangara will be 15 million. You go and get Partey, your 50 million euros. All right, cool. But at least you've invested it. Go and get them guys. Go and get a Szoboszlai. I don't know. I'm just bitching now. Some good news though. Speaking of someone I mentioned just now, Emmy Martinez. Apparently, there is some talk and rumours that Arsenal are set to offer Emmy Martinez a brand new deal, which is something I am very, very happy to hear. I know that Emmy Martinez had 2 years left. Obviously, there's a lot of talk that Leeds want him, that Chelsea want him. I'm going to do a lead now. Let me take a sip mid-sentence. Hold on. Always does that. Always does that. I find it hilarious. And yeah, but I just felt like one now, just now. Anyway, yeah, he had 2 years left on his contract. And he's done well. He's absolutely done amazingly well, exceeded my expectations for him, which I've gone on record to say, I'll hold my hands up. I did not think he had it in him. I didn't get what the big deal was about him. I didn't understand. But I trust him. I trust him more than Leno. I think he's a better keeper. I think he's a better all-round keeper. I said this from the get-go. I think I've said this as soon as he came in for his post-lockdown run after Leno was injured. I was like, oh shit, this keeper's better than Leno, you know. So, no, people don't want to hear that, but it's just my opinion. I do think Ola makes a very good point. You know, he has been good when the crowd ain't been there, but when the pressure's on, does he still react the same way? I still think he will. I still think with him, I don't think the whole playing from the back suits him. The only time he makes a really dodgy decision is when the ball is passed back to him. That's the one thing I will say. But hey ho, it is what it is. I've missed 2 donations here, haven't I? Anish, thank you. Big up for your generous donation, my bro. Big up, Chin. Even if we manage to buy Koulibaly, our defenses will still appear weak as long as our midfield is poor, meaning a world-class CDM. I completely agree. Do you notice that's why I would go for midfielders? You notice that's where my investment is. I would get rid of all of our midfielders right now and then invest that in a few different types of midfielders. Oh my gosh, you went for a double donation. Okay, thank you, my brother. Our squad will be light years ahead if we get Partey, Coutinho, and Willian to our current squad. Listen, I don't mind Coutinho being there. I don't. I'm starting to get used to the idea, actually. The Willian thing still doesn't sit right with me. And I get the point. The point is, oh, well, is he a better player than Reece Nelson? Absolutely. But I've got a feeling Arteta's not brought him in to sit on the bench. I reckon he's brought him in to play games. And that's the concern there. It'll be interesting to see what Reece thinks, because he can't be happy with that situation either. But thank you, Anish. I appreciate that. Thought I missed it, didn't you? I almost did, to be fair. But thank you. Okay. Any other stories before I get off and get up out of here? Spend some time with the other half. Oh, yes. Let me talk about Joorabchian Fernandez. So this story, I really wanted to touch on it. Joorabchian Fernandez is the 17-year-old who supposedly cost £45 million, 45 million euros. There was a lot of talk, more the start of last week, really, that Arsenal will be able to do this deal for a lot cheaper than 41 mil. I was like, all right, cool, let's see what happens, yeah? But in my mind, I kept thinking to myself, why would that club sell this supposed new Ronaldo for less, for more than less? Sorry, for more than less of his current release clause. It didn't make no sense to me. So I thought to myself, it's a matter of time before that gets rejected. And then I started seeing all these stories about they're in advanced talks now. They're in advanced talks, and Jolson Fernandez has agreed a personal term. If you noticed, I don't really go too hard with that story. Because in my mind, I kept thinking, bullshit. There is no fucking way that these idiots have gone all the way to Portugal because they've agreed 13.6 million from 41 million. Don't make no sense. So it turns out what Arsenal actually did was they bidded 18 million. Kia reckoned he could have got the job done. He was the actual person that was the Arsenal representative. Went over to Portugal to see if he could negotiate the deal. And they couldn't because obviously they wanted more than 18 million. Like Arsenal always do. They'll go into Tesco. They'll look at the bread that's on offer and still want to offer less. it's just the way we do things. But obviously now Arsenal have a bit of copper change to play with. There's a belief that Arsenal will go back in for a new deal. Apparently Sporting Lisbon are prepared to listen to offers that are a little bit lower than the actual release clause, but it ain't much. So Arsenal need to come correct before we do another Suarez. But let's see what happens. If this guy is the real deal, I have my doubts, but if he's the real deal, let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's got, because I don't know about you. I'm tired of hearing about how we almost signed Ronaldo. Tired of it. This guy's the real deal and you guys are sure, then spend that dough. Who cares what he's valued now? Those are the sort of guys. So let's face it, we need to turn into a selling club. That's the way Stan wants to run it. So this is the way we need to start thinking about it. Right? You need to look at it and say to yourself, all right, if this guy is really the real deal, he could be 100 million plus payer in a couple of years' time. If he's the real deal. But this is what you pay other people for, because they're the ones that should be identifying that. If he's honestly the real deal, then go back and secure it. But again, what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Arsenal are still in talks with Dani Ceballos over an £18 million bid. Over a new loan deal. Real Madrid has set his asking price for 23 million. Doesn't seem like a crazy amount to me. He's done well, Dani Ceballos, so I'll give him that. He's done very, very well. He really has done well. Whether he can continue to do well is another question, but he has done very well. 23 million, I'd be tempted. To be honest, I might take a stab with 23 million because, if you're thinking about this and you're trying to get rid of, I do like that guy. I know who you're talking about. I think I know who you're talking about anyway because he looks Algerian. And I don't mean that in a bad way before someone clips that shit. I've lost my flow now. I'd be tempted because if you're going to give away Torreira, I actually think he does Torreira's job better. I don't know what has happened to Torreira, but if you sell Torreira like I would, then I think that's the player that potentially replaces Torreira. But yeah, it is what it is. What do you guys think, I guess, is the whole point? Let me know. Leave in the comments below. I'm literally putting stuff in the ether and reacting to stories, including the one that has broken worldwide today, and that is Arsenal supposedly are ready to offer Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang 250 grand per week. There is a belief that there are a lot of stipulations around that. and we always go through this every time one of our big players want to leave. There's some belief that says that Aubameyang specifically wants Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. Ousmane is someone who is a good friend of his even today. He still comments on a lot of his posts, Ousmane Dembele. They obviously had a close time together at Dortmund. And if Arsenal are so committed to buying a winger, I guess Aubameyang's whole thing is, all right, well, excuse me, all right, then why not buy me? Why not buy him? I like Ousmane Dembele. I know a lot of people don't. He's 23 years old. I think he's got bags of tricks. Some people look at him as a new Pepe. I don't see that as being a bad problem, personally. I don't know if he's Pepe-esque, but I do think that he would be a useful addition to the team. It'd be interesting to see if that's who we end up making a move for. But yeah, it is what it is. What do you guys think? I guess is the point I'm making. Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Peace, Tembo. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And big shout out to Lee Gunner and Claude as well. Okay, let me just check, see if there's any other stories that you guys need to be touching on. Remember, once again, guys, I dropped a Cooking with Chig for all the gold members, so make sure you check that out. It is in the community post for you gold members. And I've got a couple of more things that I'm going to be doing some reviews on. I've got a couple more chip lick stuff. I've got a couple more video ideas for Kuna Eagle Eye, so don't think that over the summer we're going to be dropping some nuggets out here. We're going to be doing some various different things out here. And the members, you know how we do. We're always working, always checking stuff out. So keep an eye on everything that I drop very, very shortly. Let me see. All right, guys, I'm just checking out stories. Bear with me. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already as well. Interesting. Apparently, Arsenal are keeping an eye on Derby County youngster Louis Sibley. He's someone who I'm pretty sure he got a hat trick earlier this season for Derby. I remember hearing about this guy. But yeah, they put it this way: they put him on a high pedestal, so much so that he's being compared to the likes of Ben Rama in terms of players that seem to be too good for the championship, which I think is pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure he plays in the midfield as a central midfielder. I don't know if anyone knows about him too much. He's a teenager. I think he's 19 years old. And has scored 5 goals and 11 championship appearances. Obviously, one of those being a hat trick. Keep that in mind. He can play as a number 10. Is that where he actually plays? Okay, I thought centrally he played. So he plays as number 10, but he's literally like just burst onto the scene. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Anyone that knows more about him, and maybe I've botched his age or something. Just let me know. Looks like a decent talent though. Again, leave it in the comments below. Any other stories I wanted to catch up on? 3-year deal. No, so that's it. I think that's all. Nothing about Thomas Partey. I know people were asking me about that. Nothing at the moment. Still the same thing. There's a common belief that Arsenal will be going back in for Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey hasn't given up hope of a move. So let's just fingers crossed and see. Hopefully Arsenal don't screw that deal up before they have a chance to make another bid. But you know Arsenal. You know what they're like. But let's see what happens. And finally, that is pretty much it, guys. So anyway, so that brings me to the end. I'm going to literally pop into the chat room. Let's give it another 10 minutes, yeah? And 8:30 before I get up out of here. You guys, please do slap a like on the video, but if you do decide to go, it really does help. It genuinely helps when you guys do that. So hit that like and also press that subscribe button and feel free to press that membership button as well. Brand new membership stuff drops every single week. It's not like this is not one of them channels. You will get a couple of different types of stuff every single week for membership. So it's definitely worth it. Okay, big up to Ian Barron for his 46th birthday. Big up to you, my guy. You're sailing on to 50 nicely. So I hope you're well. I hope Arsenal, you enjoyed Arsenal celebrations. I know I did. And happy birthday, my man. 46, yeah? I am, despite what people think, 11 years from that. No, less than 11 now. Just over 10 years away from that. So big up to you, my guy. Happy birthday. You're getting some love in the chat room. There you go. Get some love in the chat room. Arsenal sucks, apparently. If we screw Party up, I'll be furious. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You know what, Ewan? Purely because he actually wants to come. You know, I remember when I first heard this story, right? Ask Omar, he still doesn't think it's going to happen, right? When I first heard put this story up 3 months ago, I was laughed out of my own video. Like, shit, I thought this was supposed to be reputable. Shit, I thought you knew your stuff. That's never gonna happen. All right, let's see now. Let's see. And don't get me wrong, part of me still don't think it's gonna happen just because Arsenal screw shit up. But, but, I can't help but think that maybe, just maybe, that Arsenal could pull this off with Partey. Omar, I think it's a 50-50. I honestly do. Omar, I said it to you, I said it on Saturday on Lee's show. For me, it's very simple. It's simply two things. Aubameyang could look at the situation and say to himself, all right, well, I've led this team to an FA Cup. I've got them into Europe when they weren't in there by the time the season finished. I've now got them to Europe. I can leave and not feel too bad about it and move on to my next big career move. You know, I think he's praying and ready for Inter Milan to come back in for him. He's ready for Barcelona to come back in for him. He wants Real Madrid to come back in for him. You know, I do not believe that his dad will be that active unless it was to do with a move rather than staying. Now my mum disagrees. She says she thinks that there's a possibility that maybe African families generally are very good at they very much want you as an individual to get paid as much as you possibly can, i.e., be paid your worth. So she thinks that actually she disagrees. She thinks actually that the dad is just coming at it from a natural kind of make sure you're paid what you're worth. Like actually really get as much as you're worth because these people are underestimating you. And that's what all these cryptic tweets are about. Be paid what you're worth. And actually, I didn't really look at it like that. But yeah, I suppose it would because I know my mum would be like that. My mum would be like, well, don't stay at that place if they're not paying me what you're worth. You should value yourself higher. Be paid what you're worth. There's a very good possibility it could be that. The other part of it could be that, like I said, maybe he's so comfortable where he is. You know, the club is built around him and will be built around him moving forward. He will surely be paid closer to the sort of money that he wants. Maybe not the exact money, but certainly closer to what he wants. You know, your family's settled in London. You're happy in London. You've got close relationships apparently with Arsenal Fan TV. It feels like why would you interrupt all of that for the sake of a move? So I don't know. It could go either way. It really could go either way. I genuinely, I'm right on the fence with this one. I genuinely can't call it. I think it's genuinely 50-50 these days or goes. 250 G's a week, you never know. Bambo, big shout out to Bambo's mum. Happy birthday to her. I see you, brother. I see you. Chief the man. Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it. I like Partey. Don't we all? Don't we all? Hi, Chig and everyone. I'm a mad Darlington FC fan. We were made bankrupt in 2011 and reformed in 2012. We've had 3 promotions and are currently a fan owned by the National League North Club. Oh, that's a nice little story. I like that. I like that. I like that story. I like that. DVS Dallas, yeah, as far as I know, not seen anything on that in about a month. In fact, the last time I saw his name, he was being linked to Newcastle, but then that was when we assumed Newcastle were being taken over by someone. But yeah, nothing on that at the moment. Would you sell one of our keepers for 40 mil? Or potentially Leno. If we had a £40 million bid, I'd be tempted. I would be very tempted. Yeah. Zach Medley, I'll be honest with you, my guy. I've seen him play a couple of times. Don't think he's all that. I think people like him because he's tall. Not a huge Zach Medley fan, I'll be honest. Maybe he proves me wrong, but I've not seen enough in his game that makes me think, oh, yeah, that defender could do it still. Not seeing it. You notice I never mention him. Never. Oh, he's linked to Leeds as well. There you go. Just seen that from Starboy. He normally knows the stuff. There you go. There you go. Do I think Upamecano is better than Gabriel? Oh, that is a good question. That is a very good question. I think Gabriel's better, but I think Upamecano has a higher ceiling. But I think Gabriel's better. So what I essentially mean by that is right now, I think that Gabriel's the better player. But who has the potential to improve more? Upamecano, in all honesty. That's why I don't think Gabriel would be that bad of an option. Because don't get it twisted, he's better than all of our defenders now. Ditto, Torre, ditto. When that kid makes a move, shit. Just hope it in Liverpool City or we're extra fucked. If we show no ambition, he is gone for me. Honestly, I think if you could bring in Partey and Coutinho, I think Aubameyang stays. I think it could be as simple as that. And actually, I don't really blame him. You know, he might be looking at the situation thinking, I'm 31, you know, unless these lot actually show they want the deal, they want to move in, I'm not interested. Yeah, that would be my ideal summer. You forgot, yeah, Partey, yeah. Yeah, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I would love that. And then I'd sell Lacazette. I'd sell all of our defenders bar David Luiz only because he signed a new contract. And Willian Saliba. So I'd add Mar to that as well, that list as well. I'd sell Bellerin, sell Kolasinac, sell all these suckers. Oh, well then that answers your question, Flips. That's my list, except I would also add Sarr to that list. I said Mar, didn't I? Sarr to that list. And I would also add Szoboszlai or Abour, or only if we couldn't get those two, Grealish, and then Edouard. That would be my list. I think that gets us into the top 4. I truly do. Chig, if you were in Aubameyang's shoes, would you leave? Oh, you lot are on point with the questions today. Even this is not a bad question. This is not a bad question. I'm going to say no, just because I want us to get slightly better quality. Even though I think he's a decent player. In terms of this question, oh, man, that is difficult. Taking Arsenal bias out of it, for me, I think it would depend on how ambitious the club are. So if the club show me that they can get me, if they can get the club Partey, and Coutinho, I say, all right, I can see what's happening here. Maybe we're on an upward trajectory. They've definitely shown some ambition by getting a Champions League player to somehow agree to play for us. Maybe we're headed in the right direction. I'd sign. I'd sign. Honestly, I'd sign. But that's because I want to play in the Champions League. Because I think if we were playing in the Champions League, I don't think the Aubameyang leaves. I really don't. I really don't. I'd rather Gabriel over Sarr and Diego Carlos. I'd prefer him over Diego Carlos, to be honest. I would. Sarr, I think is still a nice player. No pun intended, because I know he played for Nice. But I do like him, but he's more of a project. Whereas I think Gabriel is more of a finished article. And I think you say this every time I do a stream. I agree with you. Never disagreed with you. Has Liverpool signed anyone yet? Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. All right, it's 9:30 now. Give me one more question before I head up out of here. One more good question, because you lot have been on point with the questions. Who are Arsenal displacing in the top four? I don't see it. Best chances for Chelsea's new attackers to not click, and for them to not sign defenders. I mean, quite frankly, really, don't get me wrong, I get why you've said that. I totally get why you've said that. It makes very much logical sense. Like, who are we going to replace in the top four? I don't see it. That's, in a way, not our problem. Our problem is winning as many games as possible. And then however it shakes down, it shakes down. This is the thing that I think I want Arsenal fans to start focusing on. And that taste of cup victory should give you that ambition. We shouldn't be aiming for a top four. We should be aiming to finish top of the pile. And then if we finish top four, then okay. We should be aiming for the top of the pile. Not who do we displace in the top four? No, motherfucker. Let's displace Liverpool, because they're the champs. Not displacing whoever's in the top four. Don't want to know about the top four. Chase who we're displacing Liverpool, damn it. That should be the aim. What would you get there is another question. But that should be the aim. That should always be the aim. That should absolutely always be the aim. So there you go, Reload. I like that question, because I think it challenged me in a different way, that one. Do you think Willian is a Brazilian Lingard? No, I won't say that. I won't go as far as that. I think he's a good player, but I wouldn't go as far as that. Chig, is Tony Adams our best net centre back of all time? Yeah. Somebody asked me Adams or Sol once before. Honestly, still Adams, still Adams. But I love Big Sol. If PSG offered us Mbappe for Laka and Ubernat, yeah, of course. It's Mbappe, of course. She agreed, mate. You must be agreeing with my aim. Samuel, you're taking a piss. All right, one more question. One more question, guys. From out of it. One more question. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching me. Again, do slap a like on the video before you get out of here. You know what? This is a great question to end on. Would I take Ryan Fraser? I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be totally fucking honest with you. As honest as I can absolutely be. I have always been deep down secretly negative on the idea of us signing Ryan Fraser. My whole thing why I tried to convince myself about signing Ryan Fraser was because I wasn't expecting Arsenal to spend very much this summer. So I kind of figured that, okay, well, I've always been in this kind of mindset of, all right, let me try and convince myself that Ryan Fraser is a good signing or a good idea. Just like I'm going to have to do when we end up signing Willian. I'm going to have to try and convince myself that maybe it might work. Right? But if you ask me honestly, even for fucking free, would I sign Ryan Fraser or would I sign a Szoboszlai, for example? It would be Szoboszlai every single time. I don't care if we have to go 30 million for him. Every time. Every time. I've never really thought he was good enough, but and this is why I personally say fuck the process. Because the process should be we are a big club and we as fans need to demand the very best of that club. So forget about this top four nonsense. Yes, at minimum, we should be hoping for top four. But the whole reason that we got tired of Arsene Wenger, supposedly, or at least most of us, was that was once upon a time that wasn't good enough. And it shouldn't be good enough. Your entire aim should be winning. That was what I loved so much about Saturday. We won something. That for me is when you bring out your banter for Chelsea. You bring out your banter for whoever. You bring out your banter for Tottenham. Cool, because you won something. Not because you're seeing other teams doing the job you should be doing. That's my whole thing. Winning should be the ultimate aim. And then if you don't do it, you don't do it. You fall short, you fall short. What you hope is you don't fall too short. But somehow we've now got it into our heads that, oh, well, the Pinnacle should be fourth and, we should be thankful for that. Fuck each and every one of them teams. It's Arsenal and Arsenal only. Should be aiming to win. That's it. I don't care who we displace. Liverpool, fuck them. Let's displace them. Because the one thing also that you guys should remember, we beat both these fucking teams. We beat Liverpool. We beat City. Why shouldn't we aim to finish above them? Why? Why shouldn't we aim to finish above them? Fuck them. So let's have them all. Let's have each and every single one of these motherfuckers. Let's take them all on. I don't give a damn. Maybe I'm gassed from the weekend, but I don't care. I don't care. Don't like this idea that we're aiming to finish below them. No. Let's finish on top of these fuckers. But anyway, my rant over. Believe it or not, I am actually in a good mood, even though it doesn't appear like I am. But anyway, guys, I am out of here. Please do smash a like on this video. Hit the subscribe button. Apologies for the rant, but I'm about to go. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Deuces, motherfuckers.